Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday, the big question of the week, this week with Paul Jarvis. Hey, Paul, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Vasco. Good to be back.
So Thursday is a success question, but we always start with your favorite retrospective format. So share that with us and explain why you like that format.
You ask difficult questions again, like what's my favorite movie or what's my favorite album. It's really hard to just choose one, to be honest. Retrospectives are so important. Continuous improvement is one of those ionic columns that underpins everything about agility. It's a relentless continuous improvement, I prefer to call it. Mr. Safe calls it relentless improvement. I think retrospectives that I regularly go back to. So I've always once a quarter done the Sailboat retrospective, especially when it comes close towards what may be a PI planning or a quarterly meeting coming up where we're looking ahead for the next 3 months and beyond. I like the Sailboat because it's both a futurospective and a retrospective in one, because of the rocks between the boat and the island where you're trying to get to, representing the risks that are coming up. It's a really good exercise for a squad to look ahead a little bit occasionally, as well as conducting regular retrospectives where you're obviously looking back at the last sprint. But Sailboat does a bit of both, and the timing for that needs to be right, but I often use it at least once a quarter, especially when we're coming up to what Mr. Safe would call PI planning. Another favorite retrospective I've touched, I think, yesterday on Jürgen Appello's celebration grid. I like to use that as well as a retrospective format, trying to encourage teams to always never be afraid of carrying out experiments. As we talked about yesterday in the complex domains with the Kineva model and other similar tools like that, we need to be ready to experiment all the time. This is not just actually with teams and squads at the coalface level, as I call it, but also with agile leaders at higher portfolio and program levels as well. Sometimes everyone needs to carry out an experiment. Otherwise, how are we going to learn? And then lastly, I think I touched on briefly yesterday as well, I introduced the high performance tree with Lisa Adkins. One of my favorite retrospectives is to draw the tree up again on the board and ask the teams to play Shuhari. I don't know if you've heard of Shuhari, but it's a model from martial arts. So Shu is when your first day you walk into your first class, it could be Taekwondo or Kung Fu or whatever, you have to obey all the rules and you do only what the master says. And then when you get a little bit better in a few months or sometimes longer than that, you'll move from Shu into what they call Ha, whereas that represents a time where you have to obey most of the rules most of the time, but very occasionally you're just good enough to break one or two rules or make up something up to still stay in the meaning of what you're trying to do. And then the final lever as well, you've become the master and you can make the rules. I play Shuhari on the high performance tree and ask the squad to talk about how they do with the core values, so the focus, respect, openness, courage, and commitment, how they do with the behaviors that we want to see, so being consensus driven, listening to all the voices, celebrating just a team success, and also how they approach constructive disagreement with each other, which is in the center of our high performance tree. And is one of my favorite subjects.
Absolutely. All great retrospectives. And of course, we run these retrospectives because we know that they are one step towards being a successful Scrum Master and helping successful teams, of course. So, Paul, let's explore that. When you think about success for yourself as a Scrum Master, how do you define it?
Good question. I think probably it's defined in the success of the teams that you Scrum Master, and in my case these days coach more. Though I still dabble with Scrum Mastering every now and again as part of my role as an Agile coach. So I define my success on how well the squads perform. I think I mentioned before I worked at a payments company back in the mid teenies, as we call them, 15 to 17. This was, and I had an online team and a mobile team, and I managed to make them, they were the highest performing teams in the company. We had several teams offshore as well who helped us put together, especially the web side of things. They were in Bulgaria and Eastern Europe, and the company had offices over there. And we did several business trips there. I had two teams in London. It was the last time I really had co-located teams. Everyone came into the office 5 days a week. I can remember cycling into Canary Wharf every day. I look back on it now and think, really, did I do that? But I did. Um, but there is an advantage when you're co-located, and I did get them to really outperform. They really brought that high performance tree to life and surprised themselves with the amount of fruit that their tree as a team yielded in the end. And they did things that they probably thought at the start they would never have been able to do, both the mobile teams and the online teams. It was very rewarding. Their success was something that I took great satisfaction in.
When you think about those teams and their journey when you started, and then later on when they were, as
Yeah.
you said, successful and high performing teams, what do you think are the signs that we can be looking at as Scrum Masters to learn if the progress is indeed happening, or if not, then to focus on what might not be happening?
Yeah. For me, the visceral moments when I was starting to see the signs we were heading in the right direction, I think came in what we used to call the grooming sessions. I prefer to call them refining and estimating these days. But that's, I think, where the magic of Scrum, that's where a lot of the heavy lifting occurs. If you've got a good product owner and you've got a good grooming or refining and estimating procedure in place, then you're going to have a good backlog, and the chances are you're going to have a relatively successful Scrum implementation. There's two or three factors there that prop you up, and I could feel the viscerally in the sessions that I put 3 sessions in our 2 week sprints, plus we had occasional ad hoc sessions where we would jump in a meeting room, just two or three of us, and explore a particular, with a BA and a developer and me, or the PO and a BA and a developer, and they would pick apart a feature or something they were looking at. Everybody just pitched in. The product backlog, I think, is a key sort of sign here, because people sometimes under the false impression that the product backlog is owned by the product owner. But that is not true. The product backlog is owned by the whole squad, and everyone has to pitch in to make it tip-top shape. The product owner might kick off a lot of the stuff. Again, they don't have to kick off all the stuff. They don't have to wait for the product owner to add a defect or a story that you think needs to be done. The product owner prioritizes the backlog, yes, but the whole team is responsible for generating it. And I could tell in these grooming sessions and the sprint planning sessions, we were getting on top, and we were really getting more and more slick as time went by with the Scrum framework. Because sprint planning felt easier and easier. At the start, it was hard, and then if you got the top of that backlog groomed and everything ready to go, you could just start going down it. Yeah, we've covered it all. We've covered it all. We need to estimate that. Okay, let's estimate it. I played planning poker blind with the cards. I did it by the book to start, and then they moved, to use an early analogy, from shoe into ha. They moved from up to that next level with the Scrum framework, and I could feel it viscerally in the room at the time, I remember.
Yeah, and we need to pay attention to that understanding that comes from our intuition and experience. Do we feel the communication flowing? Do we feel people coming to agreements? Do we feel that people are able to explore the problems, maybe even the conflicts that they have, and come out with resolution or a shared agreement as to how to move forward?
I could see the way that
questions.
I could see the way they were all collaborating together, that it was really just a team together. There were no defined roles anymore. That's why in Scrum we have 3 roles. We have the Scrum Master, the product owner, and team member. We don't differentiate between what is a developer or what is a tester and in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Paul.
Pleasure.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the Product Owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth, merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for Agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in Agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused Agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/product owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, product owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.